Jahmyr Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. 14 yards on the strike. Goff to Gibbs. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
Nice job.
Jared takes the snap, back looking, throwing middle. Got Amon-Ra inside the 2, to the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Nice job.
Mariota's got it back. Pressure comes. He's hit. Slips out of it. Rolling to his right. Now he's going down. Brian Branch got him. Sack for the Lions. Snap taken by Mariota. Wants to throw it. Gonna get hit. Gonna get sacked.
Yes,
Take it
sir.
down. Brian Branch got him second time today.
Nice job.
Hands it to Gibbs, running right, runs through a tackle, gets down to the 10, Gibbs to the 5, still fighting, down to the 2, down to the 1, to the end zone!
Yes.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! He did not quit!
Nice job.
Off to throw again, does, middle, J-Mo angling to the end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions! J-Mo flips into the end zone for 6.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again!
All right, good morning, everybody. Rise and Grind Morning Show here. It is Wednesday, Wild Wednesday, and I don't even have my cowboy hat on. Actually, I don't think Eric does either. He probably will once I bring him in here in a minute. But yeah, Wild West Wednesday, man. It is it's the midweek. It's hump day. It's whatever you want to call it day, but we kind of start flipping. We get past what happened last week. We start rolling into the new week. Slowly but surely, we will get into the Rams by tomorrow. Today, we give you a little NFL news, some Lions news and rumors, a few things popping out last night that we'll get into. Kerby Joseph, is he back to save the season? Potentially. Tyler Roll on his way out. He's roll out. Tyler Roll's out of here. Tight ends coach. We're moving on. We'll talk about that this morning. And then you got the 44-year-old man with a beer belly, smoking cigars, living the life, coming back to try to bail out the Colts. We'll talk about that this morning as well. And the rest of your Lions news and rumors and other stories in 17 seconds. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for your patience.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again!
All right. Good morning, Eric, man. How are you?
Fantastic, man.
We forgot
It hasn't snowed since 4:00 last night, so I'm good.
We forgot our hats.
Yeah,
I don't even know where mine is right now.
mine's out because I worked the game, so mine's like way over that way.
We're supposed to get rain today.
Rain
Today.
It's like 18 degrees out today.
Yeah. Well, Google this morning was telling me as I was getting ready and in the shower, and your alarm goes off, and on these Samsung phones it gives you the latest news, and I hear rain, and I'm like, what? And it is kind of like a balmy, wet morning out. But
Really?
I got a funny bad story. I already told you this morning. So I get the new truck last night. Everything's going well. If you don't know, yesterday I was working with a cane because I had injections.
Did you get a brand new truck? Or what?
I'll tell you in a minute. So I'm working with a cane. I had injections on Monday, and so it wasn't working well for me. Legs weren't working. Nothing was working well. Started to feel a little bit better, but anyway, I went out, did some grocery shopping a little bit late last night. Get home, and I step out, in the one spot that I apparently didn't hit with salt, had ice, didn't see it. 1 foot goes down, and then there I go. Straight to the ground, and I'm like, I bet you the cameras caught this. And so I had to go look as soon as I peeled myself up off the ground and got some ice on me, because I did the splits. I was hurting, and imagine, I just had 2 giant needles stuck into my hips, and I do the splits. They hurt like hell. And yeah, cameras caught it. I was going to share it with you guys this morning, but I couldn't figure out how to get it downloaded and uploaded in a good resolution. Maybe I'll get it tomorrow, but I had a rough day, man. 5 a.m. this morning, I start working on stuff. Nothing worked. Nothing worked today, but I just got it fixed. I won't go into the whole thing. It gets old. But no, I went with it's more of the tailgate truck. So I got rid of the old tailgate truck, man. I started using it too much. So I went with the 2018 Nissan Armada Platinum that has a V8. I'm all about the V8. So I won't go with these new trucks that have these 6 cylinders. I have to have some muscle. And this thing has some muscle. It is built with a truck frame. It is a tank, and I love it. So far, so good. The Platinum features they're amazing. I mean, having seats that are they're air cooled and heated, and they're ventilated. That's something I've never really had, but yeah, I love it, man. It's a nice truck. Nice. Giant SUV, really. I love it, man. Having leather and all that stuff back it's good. So good deal, man. Good price. But anyway, enough about that. I'm too old to be doing the splits. Never been able to do the splits. Let's just put it that way. Even when I played baseball, man, they always had us trying to stretch that way to be able to do splits, especially when you're turning 2 at on second. I played shortstop, second, pitch, and third. But primarily shortstop, because I was the quick guy. But turning 2, man, doing the splits was just part of the training they had us doing. I could never do it.
Dude, I've always been too old to do the splits.
Right.
From the time I was born. I'm not flexible like that.
So let's kick it off with some NFL news, man. Let's just roll right into Father Time.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers trying to come back to bail the Colts out.
Yep.
And I know we spoke on it a little bit yesterday, and that was primarily because I was trying to push back at all the people that want a different quarterback than Jared Goff. And, if there was another quarterback that was available in the league, the Colts wouldn't have to be going to this length to peel some 44-year-old man who's been drinking beer and smoking cigars, living the life, doing some media spots here and there, peeled him off the couch and said, hey, go suit up. I'm surprised he even passed, his physical. Like, has he been training this? Like, there's no way. There's no way he was training. What do you think's going to happen with this guy?
Yeah. They're saying that it's all mental. They're saying the physical part, there's not much to it. He just has to be able to throw a ball, which, of course he can, even if he's put on 50 pounds. He doesn't have to be able to run around. He's not a mobile quarterback. He never was. The last game he played was January 9th of 2021.
It's crazy to me because...
So that's 5 seasons ago.
I get it. Like, it's a mental game.
Yeah.
But you need endurance. You need stamina. It's not like you're just dropping back and throwing passes to your kids. You have to evade defensive ends that are coming at you in less than 3 seconds. You have to be able to navigate a pocket. You have to be able to build timing and rapport with your receivers. You have to understand the scheme. Like, are they even running a scheme that he's used to?
Okay, I got a little news on that.
Okay.
So Rivers, who last played in the NFL for the Colts in 2020, has been coaching high school football in Alabama for the past 4 years. Okay. And the signing reunites him with head coach Shane Steichen, who previously coached him with the Chargers. Okay. And provides a veteran safety net for a team clinging to its playoff life. And for the whole year this year, they have had regular meetings, Shane Steichen and Phillip Rivers, talking about offense. And since he is the high school coach for his son's high school, they run the exact same offense as Shane Steichen runs in high school. And his son is going to be like one of the top recruited high school quarterbacks in the country in the next year or two. So he said that it's not going to be anything where he has to learn any language or learn the plays. He knows everything. He already knows this offense. It's going to be plug and play. Just get in and go.
So Gunnar Rivers, his son, he looks pretty good, man.
Yeah, he does.
He's young, but he looks pretty good. And as he develops, I mean, he's got a great quarterback mentor, obviously, in front of him with his own father. So it's interesting that they're running the same scheme, right? So they're using, some of the same language. There's no way you're going to install an NFL offense into a high school team, and they're probably utilizing a lot of the same, calls and whatnot. But that's a lot of language for a high school team to learn.
But he said that is what they're running.
So same style of passes, I'm sure, same style of routes, but I can't see anywhere where a high school team can run an NFL offense. So I get it. This is huge to me. Like I don't think it's going to go well. I don't.
So here's a question.
I don't
for
think
you.
it's going to go well at all.
All right. I'm going to put it at 3. Okay. I want you to give me your over under on 3. Is it going to go over or under 3 games played by Phillip Rivers? Is he going to make it 3 games? I'm going to say he makes it at least 3 games.
You think he's going to make 3 games? I guess I got an echo. I just thought I fixed everything, so I have to figure this out.
Oh, crap. That sucks.
Is he going to make 3 games?
Yeah.
Well, they have 4 left, right?
Yeah. But then he's got playoffs too. Does he make it 3 or more games? So 3 is the cutoff. So you're going to go under 3 games?
I'm going under.
Under? Okay.
I'm going under. I'm going under. Not that I want to see him fail. I just, all right, let's switch over to you. I'll have to run through all of my I had to rebuild everything since 5 a.m. this morning.
Gotta figure it yourself.
Let me go see if there's something turned on or off or whatever. And then, why don't you roll through your, around the NFL?
Yep. So
hold on. 3, 2, 1. And let me get you in there.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
So I'm going to go around the NFL in just about 60 seconds. First up, we got Jason Pierre-Paul. He is returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a surprise move. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed the veteran pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul to their practice squad. The 36-year-old who won a Super Bowl with the Bucs in 2020 has not played since 2023 for 2 seasons. But he was brought in to provide depth and leadership to a banged-up defensive front. He joins a unit that just placed guard Ben Bredesen on injured reserve, adding another layer of intrigue to the Bucs' late-season roster management. And if you remember, Jason Pierre-Paul is the player who played with some firecrackers and lost a few fingers. And that was back when he was with the New York Giants. Next up, so we touched on the Phillip Rivers thing a little bit, but I have that in here. Phillip Rivers returns to Indianapolis in a stunning move born out of desperation. The Indianapolis Colts have signed the 44-year-old quarterback Phillip Rivers to their practice squad. The team made the emergency call after losing starter Daniel Jones to a season-ending Achilles injury and dealing with lingering issues for both Anthony Richardson with an orbital fracture and Riley Leonard with a knee injury. Rivers, who has last played in the NFL for the Colts in 2020, has been coaching high school football in Alabama for the past 4 years. The signing reunites him with head coach Shane Steichen, who previously coached him with the Chargers, and provides a veteran safety net for a team clinging to its playoff life at 8-5. Notably, if Rivers is promoted to the active roster, his eligibility for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where he is currently a semifinalist, will be reset for another 5 years. And they're saying that this is going to make it easier for Drew Brees and Eli Manning to make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year. And finally, this is my biggest story of around the league. Quentin Jahmyr. He admits to playing drunk in a shocking story that emerged yesterday involving former San Diego Chargers cornerback Quentin Jahmyr, who admitted on social media that he played at least 8 games during the 2011 season while being completely crap-faced, drunk. The 12-year-old NFL veteran revealed he was using alcohol, specifically tequila and bourbon, hidden in his locker to cope with the traumatic divorce he was enduring at the time. Jahmyr, who is now sober, described the 2011 campaign as a blur, but vividly recalled being intoxicated during a game against the Chicago Bears where he was seeing stuff that wasn't there. The confession has sparked a league-wide conversation today about the hidden mental health battles athletes face and the unhealthy coping mechanisms that often go unnoticed behind the scenes. And that's around the league in 60 seconds today.
Interesting. So
crazy story.
Yeah, the Quentin Jahmyr thing is crazy. I'm glad that he's sobered up. But man, that is he could have done some serious damage not only to himself but somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, out there. And there was a story a long time ago about Pete Maravinovich, however you say his last name, that used to smoke certain things in the bathroom, in the restroom, and then go out and play ball.
Well, you need to watch that Cowboys documentary.
I don't know how.
Michael Irving and them were doing coke and going and playing.
Allegedly, right? Allegedly.
Oh, there's no allegedly.
No. We have to say that.
Okay. Oh, it is allegedly, but they talk about it in the documentary on Netflix.
I will always, unless they've admitted it personally, like, I will always.
Yeah, they admit it on there.
So it's just interesting that this type of stuff happens, and you know, a lot of it. But bourbon and tequila, like normally it's vodka because they say the vodka you can't smell it.
Yeah,
I could still smell it on people if you're drinking anything. I could still smell it, but bourbon, I mean, really, and tequila.
Well, and you're breathing hard. You'd think somebody would smell it.
Mm-hmm. All right, is the echo gone?
I hope so.
It was on my end.
What's with this Will AI voice? Still echoing. Echo remains.
I don't know what it is then. Unless I have, let me check something else. Unless I have 2 of the same thing in a scene, that's possible.
Quentin Jahmyr was the player that was drunk while he was playing during the 2011 season for 8 games. And one of the games was when they faced the undefeated Green Bay Packers, and they were basically ready to close out the game on the Packers, and Quentin Jahmyr had a very costly penalty that cost them the game. And so there you go, tinfoil hat people. There's one for you right there. A drunk player on the field, and nobody knew about it. I don't know how you could get through an NFL game being crap faced. I don't know how you could do it. I don't have my faculties about me when I'm drinking. I haven't drank in like 17 years, but when you are crap faced, man, I don't know how you could do it. Even being one of the best, even being one of the best athletes in the world, it would still have to take you out of your game.
You know, I wonder if for some reason that my camera is picking it up. I really hate.
They said when you talked, when it was the scene with just me, there was no echo.
That makes it even more weird.
I wonder if Dem Dad says I would vomit. That's nuts. That's probably what I would do too.
That would be the least of it for me.
Oh my God. Anytime I got drunk, which is, I could count on both my hands probably in my lifetime, room spins and stuff. How could you go tackle somebody if the whole stadium's spinning? I don't know. I was never a big drinker. So LT56 rumors. I don't know what the LT56 rumors were. He must have been doing some stuff too.
Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh God, who knows back then? Who knows? All right, what else do you have? Why don't you roll into something else while I'm trying to figure this out?
They said it's not echoing anymore.
Oh, it was for me when I listened back.
Oh, okay. Well, we can go around the NFC North if you want. So I have an interesting one to start. We're going to start with the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell has put the J.J. McCarthy 9 persona to bed. 9 was amazing in Minnesota with their win over the Detroit Lions back in November. But J.J. McCarthy's struggles in the games that followed has turned his alter ego 9 into a meme and the laughing stock of the entire National Football League. Everyone noticed, including McCarthy's head coach, Kevin O'Connell. O'Connell did his weekly chat with K-Fan in Minnesota's Paul Allen on Tuesday, and he made it pretty clear that he's not a big fan of McCarthy's alter ego when Allen said the 9-bit sucks, and it's not who McCarthy truly is. And then here's a quote from Kevin O'Connell. You better have confidence, and you better have a comfort in who you are to be in certain roles. I think being the starting quarterback of an NFL team is one of those things. All I've asked JJ to do is just be authentically himself, O'Connell said of McCarthy's on-the-field persona. So the 9 persona of JJ McCarthy is officially dead in Minnesota. And then next, the Green Bay Packers. They have a chance to do something wonderful on Sunday against the Broncos, the Denver Broncos. Well, actually, the Denver Broncos have something they can do against the Packers that is totally awesome this weekend. They just need a little help from the Packers, okay? The Broncos can clinch a playoff berth in Week 15 versus the Packers. The Denver Broncos enter their Week 15 matchup against the Green Bay Packers at 11-2. And while the 9-3-1 Packers aren't an easy opponent, the Broncos have a chance to cement themselves as one of the first teams to punch their ticket into the playoffs. Mike Garafolo of NFL Network shared how the Broncos, along with the New England Patriots, and yes, the Los Angeles Rams, can make the playoffs at the conclusion of Week 15. Denver needs a win. A win, and they're in. That's it. However, there are some wild scenarios in which the Broncos could make the playoffs, even if they lose to the Packers in Week 15. If Denver ties the Packers in Week 15, which would make for some odd NFL history after the Packers tied earlier this season, they could get in with one of 4 scenarios. 1, if the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Los Angeles Chargers lose in Week 15 to the New York Jets and Kansas City Chiefs, respectively, then the Broncos would make the playoffs if they tied the Packers. A similar playoff berth would occur if the Broncos tie in Week 15 while the Houston Texans or Indianapolis Colts lose or tie their respective matchups in Week 15 against Arizona and the Seattle Seahawks. While those are some strange playoff scenarios, there's only one way in which the Broncos could make the playoffs with a loss to the Packers in Week 15. If the Texans and Colts lose or tie in with Week 15, as long as they both don't tie, then the Broncos could get into the playoffs no matter the outcome of the Packers game. But the easiest path for the Broncos to make the playoffs would be to beat the Packers in Week 15. But if they don't, there's still a chance they could clinch a playoff berth in Week 15. And I don't like that. I just like that they need to beat the Packers and they're in the playoffs. So I would really like to see that this weekend.
They're going to beat the Packers.
Yeah. And finally, the Chicago Bears. Could they seriously go from the number 1 seed to outside looking in for the playoffs after just 2 weeks? Well, a loss to the Browns and a win by the Lions versus the Rams would do just that. Could the Bears end up going 9-8 after such a hot start?
That's where I put them.
Yep, me too. I said the other day they are not going to win another game. And after a 28-21 loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, the Chicago Bears dropped significantly in the NFC playoff picture. They went from being the number 1 seed to the number 7 seed in the final wild card spot in just 1 week. There's been some inconsistent play from quarterback Caleb Williams. He's shown flashes of brilliance, leading 5 fourth quarter comebacks this season, but he has also been inconsistent, kind of like my reading. He currently has the lowest completion percentage, 57.8 among all NFL quarterbacks with at least 200 attempts.
What was that again? How much?
He has the lowest completion percentage, 57.8 among all NFL quarterbacks with at least 200 attempts.
Yeah.
He has the worst completion percentage in the NFL.
Can't say that I'm surprised.
One of his goals, he said, him and Ben Johnson at the beginning of this season, they said they wanted him to have 70% completion and 4,000 yards. That was their goals. They didn't put out how many wins they wanted to get or anything else. So he is way behind on their goals for the season. I don't know how many, I forgot to look how many yards he has. He's made some really costly mistakes this year. Oh, excuse me. In the loss to the Packers, Williams had a chance for late game heroics, but underthrew a pass to tight end Cole Kmet in the end zone, resulting in a game sealing interception by the Packers. That cornerback Kason Nixon got with just 22 seconds left. And that is the exact same play that they ran against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it worked to perfection against the Eagles. But the Packers, you know what? They watched the Eagles tape, and they knew exactly what was coming. They knew that Caleb Williams was going to run to the left, and he was going to shoot the ball to the back of the end zone. And he did exactly what he did in the Eagles game, except for the cornerback got right in front of the ball and took it away. And they have a pretty tough schedule. The Bears, they're 9-4, and they face a brutal closing stretch. They host the Cleveland Browns next, which is one of the best defenses in the league, followed by a rematch with the Packers at home, and then a road trip to San Francisco, and then the season finale against the Detroit Lions. They may not win another game. The Bears are now tied with the 49ers at 9-4 and sit just behind the Packers at 9-3-1 in the NFC North standings. The Lions 8-5 are also just one game back, making every remaining game critical for seeding or even making the playoffs at all for the Chicago Bears. And that is your NFC North report for Wednesday.
All right. Hopefully it's getting better. Like, I just had to delete everything. Like, everything was all messed up. Again, I just fixed it. And if it's not better, I'm going to check one more thing. Caleb Williams, look, I'm not surprised.
Yep.
I'm not surprised. My text right after that game ended was obviously F. Ben Johnson, but Caleb Williams is exactly who I thought he was. And he was going to do exactly what I said that he would do, and that is choke. Because that's what he does. He chokes.
Well, it seems like he's got this crazy escapability on plays, which fans love for some reason, instead of sticking in the pocket and throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does run around and throw the ball, yes, he gets one or two of these absolutely amazing, crazy plays, but you can see Ben Johnson on the sideline. You see the look on his face like, God damn it, why didn't he stick in the pocket and throw the ball, the easy pass right over the middle to his check down? It's got to be driving Ben Johnson insane that the guy likes to freelance so much.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's so much freelancing, but he does create with his legs. I mean, I can give him that. There's plenty of times that he's creating with his legs and he is extending plays, and that is what, you want to see with that style of a quarterback. But with that offensive line, I don't think that you really need to do that as often. You just need to have the trust in the fact that that offensive line is going to give you at least a few seconds of protection. And the most important thing is to your point, finding your checkdowns, but getting through your progressions quick enough. And I believe that Caleb Williams has always had, from all the film that I've watched on him, leading up to the draft, 2 years ago, obviously doing some scouting before the games versus the Lions. what I see is a guy that is a quarterback that is he either has a hair trigger and he's pushing the ball out too quick, or he's shy with the trigger and he's getting the ball out too late. He does make some incredible passes. He does make some incredible plays, as he should. But what is it, a 58% completion percentage?
Yeah.
That is pathetic.
52.8.
It's even worse. It's pathetic. And I'm sorry,
his biggest knock was he couldn't get completions.
It's driving me nuts. It's like you fix one thing and now it's saying, OBS disconnected and reconnected. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, we're getting Ring of Doom here.
It's back, but I'm so sick of OBS right now. There's something going on between OBS and YouTube and Microsoft, because everyone's doing updates at the same time and they're not working. I might have to just figure out how to go back to a couple of updates ago. But if you look at Jared Goff, his completion percentage last season, 72.4, 2023, 67.3, 2022, 65.1, and in 21 with zero good weapons as far as receivers, 67.2. His worst year ever was the final 7 games that he played in 2016 when Fisher threw him out there to the Wolves. That team was not going to win any of those games. He'd had a depleted offense, and he still threw a 54.6, which is better than Caleb Williams in his second year.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Goff has been absolutely incredible. This year, let me just give you a rundown. Starting with week 1, 79.5, 82.1, 71.4. His worst game was the Browns, 59.3, still won the game. 82.6, 79.3, 69 against the Bucks, 67.6 against the Vikings, 75.8. Then his real worst game was against the Eagles, 37.8, 66.7 against the Giants, 76.9 against the Packers, and last week against the Cowboys, 73.5. Just stellar performances by Jared Goff. Obviously, the weather game there against the Eagles, the swirling winds, and it wasn't so much his fault as the 5 or 6 drop passes in that game drove his numbers into the dirt.
And 5 batted passes?
Yeah, so if you
didn't help you.
Yeah, and then part of that's his problem, right? But it's also part of the offensive line's problem, not able to hold a line in that game. But let's convert over here to the Eagles for just a moment. So I said this against the Packers. When we watched the Eagles play the Packers, and it was a game that they barely won, I said that the Eagles are not a good team. The Packers, to me, they've gotten away with 2 wins against us. We have not played our best football against them for whatever frickin' reason. I don't understand it. But I don't think that the Packers are the world beaters that some people are making them out to be this year.
No.
They got away with 2 against us. And they barely got out of a game against the Eagles where the Eagles still won, but it was a really close defensive game. But that game proved to me that the Eagles are starting to fall apart. For whatever reason, Jalen Hurts has been terrible this year, at least in the last half of the season. Since the Packers game, you barely beat the Packers, you barely beat the Lions, and then they lost to the Bears, right? They lost to the Bears right after that?
Oh, yeah, the Eagles did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles fell off the map. Their offense is just atrocious. And then last week it came out that their head coach is talking about dabbling with the OC some more. So
I don't know.
He might start calling plays. That's what it's boiling down to. Their offense is just stale, stagnant, dead. It's not working.
No,
you watched the game the other night. It was atrocious.
Yeah, it was bad for Jalen. So 10-7 against the Packers, they win. They barely beat the Lions 16-9. The Cowboys edged them out 24-21. And then the Eagles drop one to the Bears. Again, it was a weather game. The Bears took off in that one, and at the very end, the Chargers beat them. Where Jalen Hurts in his stats for the game, 21 of 40. 240 yards, no TDs, 4 interceptions, 1 sack, 31.3 quarterback rating. 31.3. Saquon Barkley put up 122 yards on the day. Jalen Hurts didn't do anything on the ground. A.J. Brown still pulled in 100. Dallas Goedert had a hell of a game with 78 yards. Devonta Smith was held to 37. Darius Cooper, 1 of 19. Will Shipley, 1 of 3. Jahan Dotson, 1 of 3. Saquon Barkley, 0 for 2 in the pass game. They don't look good. Their defense is good, but they do not look good offensively. The Eagles are not winning the Super Bowl. I'm beginning to wonder if they're even going to make it out of the first round of the playoffs unless they get a bye and somehow eclipse the Rams. It ain't going to happen. Right now, it's the Rams on top of the NFC, and the only way that the Lions still have a shot at the 1 seed, as bleak as it may be. We still have a shot at the 1 seed, and that's where I'm going to transition to next. Sounds like the echo's gone. Be right back in 17 seconds.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, the Detroit Lions playoff hopes are alive. And would you believe it if I were to tell you that the Lions can still end up with the number 1 seed? And they absolutely can. So here's your NFC standings and remaining games for the rest of the season. Now, for the Detroit Lions, after the 44-30 win against the Cowboys, they have a 39% chance of making the playoffs, but there's still some work to do. Obviously, the NFC is a bit murky. Last week's number 1 seed, the Chicago Bears, fell to number 7, which, if you remember what I said that week, I said enjoy it while it lasts because it won't last long. There's a ton of moving parts here with the last 4 games of the year, and starting with the Rams on the 14th this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. You have the Rams and the Lions. Rams 10-3 right now, going up against Detroit. They also have Seattle, Atlanta, and Arizona. The way the Rams have been playing, I think that they're going to win at least 2 of these games, if not 3. But I have them going 2-2 for the rest of the year, losing to Detroit, losing to Seattle, and then closing out the season at 12-5. That's where I have the Rams, at 12-5. As long as the Lions beat the Rams and the Lions win out, they can take the 1 seed away from the Rams. The Packers at 9-3-1. They head out to Denver. That should be a loss. Then they go to Chicago. Hopefully that's a win. And then you have Baltimore at home. And then they head back out to Minnesota to wrap up the season. As far as the Packers right now at 9-3-1, I have them winning 2 of their last 4 games, finishing the season what would be 11-5-1. And then you have the Eagles at 8-5. Right now, they're heading back home to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Then they head out to Washington, which shouldn't be a contest, but this is the Eagles right now that we're talking about. Then they head out to Buffalo at Buffalo, and then they head back home to take on Washington again. Here's the thing about Washington and the Eagles. Being a divisional opponent, I think that Washington might pull one of those off.
Yep.
And Vegas, probably a win. Washington, the first one, probably a loss. Buffalo, probably a loss. So I have them going win, loss, win with Washington at home to finish the season. I have the Eagles finishing at 10-7 on the season, which would be less than the Lions, hopefully, right? So we have the Packers at 11-5-1. We have the Eagles, at 10-7, and I have the Rams at 12-5. The Bucs at 7-6. They head home this week to take on Atlanta. Then they head out to take on Carolina and Miami away. And then they head back home to finish against Carolina. For the Buccaneers at 7-6, yes, they can still make the playoffs. They'll take care of Atlanta. I think they're going to drop one to Carolina. They should beat Miami. And I think they'll take care of Carolina in the second game. So for me, I have them going 2-2 on the way out. That's 9-8 to finish the season. That might not be enough. It could win. Hold on here. It could win. Let me pull this back up. NFL standings. could win their division. I think, yeah, it's going to be tough. So if they split with the Panthers, and as long as they finish even with the Panthers and split with the Panthers, they're going to take the division. The Panthers to be the second seed within the NFC South, which may not be enough to make the playoffs. And then you get into who's next here? The Seahawks.
You don't think the Panthers could win the NFC South?
Well, like I said, if the Bucs split with the Carolina Panthers, because they have them 2 out of the last 4 games,
yep,
and they both tie with records at 9-8, the Bucs will take the South.
I think for some weird reason, I think the Carolina Panthers are going to win the South this year.
Then that would mean that they'd have to win their 2 games against the Bucs and finish, 1 game ahead somehow.
Yep.
So the Seahawks at 10-3, they're heading out to Indianapolis. I'm sorry, they're taking Indianapolis at home. That's going to be a win. Then they go out to Los Angeles Rams. That's going to be a close one. That's going to be a pick'em game. And then they head out to Carolina, which is not going to be an easy game. I think that Carolina has a really good defense brewing right now. And then they head out to San Francisco. If anybody has the hardest schedule right now in the NFC, I think it's the Seahawks. Outside of Indianapolis, which would have been a very tough game had Daniel Jones not gone down, they very easily could lose the last 4 games. I'm going to be nice. I'll give them 2-2 to finish the season, kind of like what I'm doing with everybody else. That puts them at 12-5. So if they're at 12-5, and the Rams are at 12-5, and the Lions are at 12-5, I haven't gone through the scenario yet of common opponent because the Lions don't take on the Seahawks this year. So we don't have head-to-head. We'd have to go to common opponent. And I haven't gone that far. So
That'd be the Rams probably, right?
It could be for sure the Rams. But if it's the Rams, it's a decider. We have to beat the Rams. There's just no other way around it. We have to beat the Rams. We really just need to win out at 12-5, and we should be fine. It's going to take a lot of help, but it can be done. The 49ers at 9-4, they can be sneaky right now. They're heading home to take on Tennessee. That should be a win. Then they head out to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. That should be a win. Then they head out back home to take on Chicago. That should and hopefully be a win. And then their last game at home versus Seattle could be a loss. So let's just say they go 3-1 to finish the season. They're going to be at 12-5. We could have a 4-way tie heading into the final week of the season, week 18. 3 teams at 11-6. Or I'm sorry, 3 teams at 11-4. And any one of them could win or lose that final game of the year and finish either 12-5 or 11-6. That's a great script, by the way. And I got something I'm going to share with you about the script here in just a moment. The Bears. The Bears, 9-4. They head out to Cleveland. That could be a loss. They take on Green Bay one more time. That could be a loss. They take on San Francisco at San Francisco. That could be a loss. And then they head home in the final week of 18 to take on the Lions. Realistically, they could also be 12-5. If they beat Cleveland and move to 10-4, and they lose to Green Bay, moving to 10-5, and then they lose to San Francisco, putting them at 10-6, and then somehow beat Detroit or flip-flop those, beat San Francisco, lose to Detroit, they're at 12-5. Well, they don't have the head-to-head against us, so they'll be below the Lions. But the thing for a moment here, that you could have, 5 teams now in the NFC that could all finish at 12-5 somehow?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That'd be amazing.
That is crazy. And you only have 4 spots for your, for the division winners. And then you're going to have 2 teams that could potentially be not having a playoff game at home and having a really good record.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everyone's crying about right now. I don't think it's going to be the Eagles or the Bucs. I think that they're going to be the 2 lowest seeds when it's all said and done, unless the Panthers jump them. I think the Eagles, the Bucs, and the Panthers will be the 3 lowest seeds in the NFC.
I really thought if something was going to change, it would have changed when the Seahawks went 7-9 and ended up hosting a playoff game and won their playoff game. Actually, I thought something would have happened then. if something was going to happen with the playoff seeding, it should have happened with that scenario right there happening.
So the Lions beating the Cowboys obviously was a big step in the right direction. It effectively kept our playoff hopes alive. Had we lost to the Cowboys, I really believe the doom and gloom would have been a lot stronger than what it was.
Oh God.
It
It was so bad for a week. From that week, from the Packers until after we beat Dallas, the doom and gloom was, my God, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. So Southwest Line 26. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Who have the Bears beaten this year? Tell me how many games have they beaten a team with a winning record? The answer is very small. One is one. They have a last place schedule. They've played nobody. They've played some of the worst defenses and offenses in the league, and they've barely beat some of those teams. So I'm not going to give them any credit. It is not about hate for Ben Johnson. If you know me by now, I can be 100% realistic with everything. That's why I gave them a couple of wins to finish their season. So, or at least one win to finish their season. So back to the Lions here. Had we lost to the Cowboys, we would have had a 12% chance of making the playoffs. The way that the Lions get it done is in all three phases. TK85 is going to have to continue to produce. It does not sound like Khalif Raymond will be back this week. At least the last I heard about it. I don't know if anything changed from yesterday. They were off yesterday. I haven't really heard a whole lot. Well, playing complementary football is going to be key. Obviously, playing in all three phases is going to be key. What we just don't want to see is the Lions completely fall apart. You know, we don't want to see a team that we should beat somehow put the screws to us. That'd be the end of us this year. You know, if we take a bad loss, it'll be the end of us. I don't know if we'll climb out of that one. But 4 games remaining. LA. Eric, you going win, you going loss?
Win.
Okay. Pittsburgh.
And originally I had that as a loss.
Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows which Pittsburgh team is going to show up?
Yep.
That's the biggest question for me. Who's showing up?
To me, that all depends on what happens this week. So if the Steelers win this week and the Bengals and the Ravens lose, that would put the Steelers up 2 games in the division. And then the Lions game wouldn't matter as much to the Steelers.
No,
it just depends on what happens this weekend.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers matters because he can't stand the Lions. Never has. You're right. Yeah. You know that this is his opportunity now. We booted him out of the NFC North. This is his opportunity to play spoiler.
Oh yeah, that's his revenge tour.
He's coming. He's coming to play. Assuming he's going to be able to play in this game, he's coming to play. What I do like is that the Steelers are 28th in the league right now for a defensive ranking overall, and they are 27th on offense. So it's a very bad team. Again, you just don't know who you're going to get. And that defense, some weeks they play lights out. Some weeks they don't. I think this is a simple one for us. You just have to keep Jared Goff upright, and our defense needs to play complementary football. They need to play within their details.
The Steelers put up 23.7 points per game. The Lions are putting up over 30. So that's a touchdown difference. Just taking the defenses out of it, just going by the offenses, you're looking at 2 teams that are on quite different trajectories as far as offense goes. So I would guess that the Lions being at home, they're probably going to be 5.5, 6-point favorites against the Steelers.
To Southwest Line 26, you'd mentioned, and I'm not picking on you. I'm just responding to some of the things that you're saying here about like Caleb Williams making better decisions. He literally threw an interception to end the game last week.
Yeah. I got something to go along with this.
That's not a good decision. That whole play was he should have done something different, and he didn't.
Yeah, he could have took the easy dunk down underneath and would have had much better result. So speaking of the Bears and how they haven't faced anybody real, right? They've faced all these fourth place schedule teams. And so I found something very interesting about another team that people feel the same way about, and that is the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots were a disaster last year. They're playing a fourth place schedule this year. So I'm going to read something for you. There are 9 teams averaging more than 25 points per game this year. The Patriots have faced exactly one of them, the Buffalo Bills. There are 13 defenses in the NFL giving up less than 22 points per game, and the Patriots have faced 0 of them. I think what I'm trying to say here is that the Patriots really have not been tested, and they haven't. They've played a very weak schedule. They haven't played a great defense, and they haven't played against a team with a good offense that, somebody that does put up 25 points a game. So the Patriots are, I think they're in for a very rude awakening when it comes to the playoffs this year.
Maybe in the playoffs, but I will say this about the Patriots: they are not the same brand of football that the Chicago Bears are. May is playing at an absolute MVP level. That defense is for real. They are beating teams by double digits more often than not. I mean, they handled. God, let's see. Hold on. Let me just pull up their schedule. So they beat.
Yeah.
They beat the Raiders by 7 week 1. They beat the Dolphins by 6 week 2. They put up 33 in that game. They beat they lost to the Steelers by 7. They beat the Panthers 42-13, which is a really good defense. They beat the Bills, which is a really good offense, not so great defense, by 3. They beat the Saints by 6. They beat the Titans by 18. They beat the Browns by 20. They barely pulled one out. They pulled one out against the Falcons. That was midway through the season when the Falcons still were something. Defense better than offense at that point. They beat the Bucs by 5. Good offense and defense. They beat the Jets by 13. They beat the Bengals, really good defense, by 6. They beat the Giants, which really good defense, as we saw, by 18. So it's a different brand of football to me. It's the polar opposite to me than what the Bears are. The Bears are barely beating teams. Let me pull up the Bears schedule real quick.
But the Giants, the Jets, the Raiders, the Dolphins, all these teams, those are going to be picking in the top 10.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Well, when you look at their defense, right? Go look at their defenses. So if you
now the Browns have a decent defense. They do.
Let's just take a look. The Browns are number 2. The Bills are number 10. The Falcons are 14. The Raiders are 16. The Jets are 17. The Panthers are 18. The Dolphins are 19. The Bucs are 21. They haven't played any of the bottom dwellers. I mean, the Giants are now 31. The Bengals are now 32, but they've lost a boatload of players over the last 4 or 5 weeks. The Bengals for sure, and without Trey Hendrickson.
The Titans.
What's that?
Yeah, so the Bengals and the Giants, those are 2 of the worst defenses. They played both of those.
Yeah, and the Titans. So three bad. I mean, 3 out of 14 games or 15 games, whatever it's been, 14 games. I think that they've played some really good teams, and they've played some either really good defense or really good offense.
And you can do the same thing with the Bears. The teams the Bears have faced have not been the best.
No, they've been terrible. And so the power index, which I've got to figure out how to find that again. I don't know where the hell it went. But that breaks it down even better to kind of explain. It's different than a power ranking. Power index is way different. But let's just take a look at the Bears. So the Bears this season, we are in 2025. Come on. All right. So they started out, they lost to the Vikings 27-24. Great defense. Not a good offense, but the Bears got crushed in that game. We smoked them 52-21. They beat the Cowboys when the Cowboys didn't have a clue as to what they were doing in week 3. They beat them pretty good, 31-14. They barely beat the Raiders. So if we talk about a defense there that's in, the middle of the pack, but they didn't have an offense, 25-24. They barely beat the Commanders, 25-24. I don't think Jaden Daniels even played in that game. Let me go back and look.
Was that the game he got hurt in?
He was 19-26, 211. He did play in that game.
Okay. So they had a healthy Jaden Daniels playing against them.
They had a healthy Jaden Daniels. But they barely won 25-24. The Saints, they beat 26-14. They should have beat the Saints. The Ravens smoked them 30-16. The Bears and the Bengals. So at this point, November 2nd, I don't know if Trey Hendrickson was in or not. Let me take a look. Trey Hendrickson.
In November?
Yep.
No, he went out in October.
Yeah, I don't think he was in that game. So no Trey Hendrickson in that game. So you had, rookie Demetrius Knight, and Shamar Stewart.
Got to look at Shamar Stewart's
He's
stuff,
doing good.
See how he's doing.
He's doing good.
Because we both liked him coming out of college.
Yeah, I think he's ranked right up there. Someone on the YouTube comments was talking about, or when I put up that post yesterday about, people hating on me and I put the Puff Daddy song in there, the lyrics. He has some clapbackers, which is what I was looking for, saying that we still needed an edge. And they're throwing out things like AQM is never double teamed. Like, yeah, he's double teamed more than Aiden. But anyway, I'll digress. I'll digress for a moment.
I got to tell you something. Okay. So 2 things this week. I had so many Lions fans turn on me on social media. It's absolutely mind blowing because I put up stats from Tom Kennedy and said, hey, could this be the end of Khalif Raymond? Because he's on the last year of his contract and this would be a cheaper option. And everyone just put me over the coals because, Khalif's not going anywhere. We're going to re-sign him and blah, blah, blah. You're horrible. So. There's no way they're going to roll with TK85 over Khalif Raymond. I'm like, okay.
Look at his numbers.
And then I put something on Aiden that he's not double teamed or triple teamed on every play. Even though he gets a lot of pressures, he needs to start getting home. And what I put was Aiden Hutchinson reminds me of a video game controller, like an Xbox controller that has the circle button and it's depressed and it won't come back up. So it's just spin, 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 right? Your controller is stuck on the spin move. And that's what it reminds me of. He has no other move that he's using. It's just the spin move left or right on every play. And I got raked over the coals. Oh, he's double or triple teamed on every single play. And I'm like, no, he's double or triple teamed on 40 to 60% of his plays.
40.
And yeah. And I showed some of the stats, and people, I just hundreds of comments. I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I'm a Lions hater because I'm telling you guys some truth. And
they don't want to hear the truth, Eric.
And I wasn't even being mean about it. I'm just saying I expect more out of a guy that we paid $180 million than 8.5 sacks through, or 8 sacks through 13 games.
Well, you're going to hear that side of it too, where people, say, well, we shouldn't judge him on the fact that he's not getting paid that money. Like, I get it. He's not getting paid that money yet. But typically when you sign a player to a big contract like that, you expect them to play to that level. It doesn't matter if they're getting paid. He just did get a huge signing bonus for that contract. So yes, he is getting that money.
To put it like this, I want Aiden to do what Myles Garrett was doing in year 3 or year 4.
There you go. Just be consistent.
I want him to match him. I just want him to be consistent and match what he did when he was in year 3 or year 4. I'm sure he had 10 or 12 sacks.
Almost every year he had 12 to 14. Yeah. But it was more than that. It was the TFLs, it was the game-changing plays.
And tackles and run stuffs, all that stuff. Yeah.
All right. So getting back to the Bears schedule here, when you look over, they beat the Eagles, and the score does not identify how that game went. That score kind of, I think it went out of control kind of in late in the game. Chicago Bears put up 14 in the fourth quarter. Bad weather game for both teams, and the Bears were able to lean a little bit more on their run game. Monangai put up 130 yards against the Eagles. Saquon Barkley only put up 56. So clearly things were not working, but Caleb Williams was not the key to that game. He threw for 154 yards. It's a terrible game. 1 interception, 1 TD. It was the run game that did it. It was not Caleb Williams. So if the run game's not working, Caleb Williams doesn't work anyway. So it's not going to end well for them. I'll bounce off the Bears, but there's no one that you can point to really on this schedule outside of the Lions, really good team that they faced early, and we smoked them. The Ravens, decent team, not a great team. At the time the Bears played them, not a good team. Not a good team. The Eagles, and they not a good team.
They lost with their backup. That was the Ravens' backup that beat them. Tyler Huntley, and he smoked them.
It's crazy. So anyway, getting back into where the Lions are going, what's going on with the rest of the NFL playoffs. The Lions, are we in control? Can we stay in control? What can the Lions do to control the situation, I guess, is the better question. We have 4 games remaining. Like I said, LA, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Chicago. And I'm saying that we're going to win out. Even if we lose to the Rams and we win out, we have a chance to be at least a 7th seed at a minimum, as long as the rest of the games go our way. If we go 3-1 with a loss to the Rams, we are at 95% of making the playoffs. If we go 3-1 with a loss to the Steelers, 98%. Now let me say this again. A 3-1 finish in the last 4 games would go a long way towards locking up a playoff spot at a minimum. But if we take a look at each scenario, you kind of get a better idea of what's going on here. The NFC North is the key, but a 3-1 loss to the Vikings, we're still at 96%. Now, if we lose to the Bears, it drops to a 75%. That can't happen. So we must win week 18 no matter what. We really just need to win out. So as you can see, the Bears stand to win a lot if the Lions lose in that game. Ben Johnson can't beat us in week 18. We'll never live it down. But a 20% difference in making the playoffs or not to an NFC North opponent is huge. That tells you how good the NFC North has been this year, but not all schedules are equal. They're just not. Week 15 scenarios. Lions beat the Rams. Playoff chances jump from 39 to 60%. It's a massive swing, but it's a game that easily looms as the hardest remaining game on the schedule. Browns at Bears. Could this be considered a trap game? I don't think so. I think the Browns have a legit defense. It's just who's coming to play. The Browns have a very strong defense. Number one in defensive success rate. Shedeur Sanders is coming off an excellent game. I think Shedeur now is getting more comfortable. They actually allowed him to throw the ball more than 30 times in a game. I think it was like 42. The Bears could be looking ahead to the Packers rematch in week 16 and forget all about the Browns. I hope they do. Packers at Broncos. This feels like the hardest remaining game for the Packers. Denver at 11-2. They have one of the league's top defenses. They've won 10 in a row. So they are due for a loss. I hope it's not this game. Titans at 49ers. The 49ers have a whopping 8 NFC wins. It would serve as a tiebreaker if they finish with the same record as the Lions. That's where I was saying the 49ers could be sneaky. Colts at Seahawks. This game was a lot more intriguing, like I said, when Daniel Jones was healthy. He's not. I don't see this not going to the Seahawks. Panthers at Saints. This game is more about NFC South control, and this helps the Panthers obviously do that to edge out the Buccaneers. I'd almost rather face the Bucs than the Panthers right now. I really would. I don't like the Panthers defense, the way they've been playing, the way that their DBs have been playing. Vikings at Cowboys. Look, the Cowboys are a game and a half behind the Lions after losing last week, but they do have some winnable games. Vikings, Chargers, and Commanders, all 3 teams that are missing or depleted in key areas. Bottom line is this. Just freaking win out. That's all you got to do. One game at a time, one foot in front of the other. Pass your breathalyzer. Go win the last 4 games. Anything you want to add to this?
I just want the Texans defense. I want to do a end of season week 14 trade swap defenses. I want the Texans defense and our offense, and we would be unstoppable.
A Texans defense. The Texans team with CJ Stroud, they've been on a surge the last couple weeks. Been on a surge. Okay. All right, you want to speak truth, Mastrovi, whoever you are. Welcome in this morning. Says, who have the Lions beat? 3 maybe? How many good teams have the Lions beat? Okay. Lions schedule. Well, we do have a first place schedule. You know that, right? We have a first place schedule. Who have the Lions beat? Cowboys, one of the hottest teams in the league last week.
Yeah.
Got put down. Baltimore in week 3. Baltimore was one of the hottest teams to open up the season. Got put down. Chicago. If you say they're a great team now, well, what were they in week 2? They got put down. Kansas City, not a great team. We shouldn't have lost that game. Clearly, we had a lot of things going on this squad. Dan Campbell had to take over play calling. Tampa Bay, good team. Their record doesn't show it, but a huge defense. That was a team that we beat 24-9.
Tampa Bay.
And they were missing a couple offensive pieces that game.
Tampa Bay won their division last year. Tampa Bay is a first place team, correct? They're in first place in their division right now.
There you go. So the only teams that we've lost to that are good teams is Green Bay. Kansas City, we shouldn't have lost that game, right? But we didn't come to play. So when you look at our schedule and you look at our wins, we beat the number 1 defense. We beat, well, let me go back to defense. Really shouldn't go by where they are today. It matters where they were back then. Yep. But the am I on defense? Yes, I'm on defense. The Browns.
Browns are number.
Yeah, Browns are number 2. We beat that defense. The Bengals, back when we played them early in the season, they were not 32. They were much higher. We went up against Trey Hendrickson, and I mean, they had a full complement on that defensive side of the football. They were a top 15 defense. I'd have to go back to my notes, but they were definitely a top 15 defense when we took them on, what was that, week 5 or week 6? Week 5.
Wow.
What's that?
If we beat the Steelers, we would have beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 bottom defenses. That's funny.
Say that again.
So look at the defenses. The bottom 6 are the Bengals, Giants, Commanders, Cowboys, Steelers, and Bears. If we can beat the Steelers, we complete all 6 of those. We'll have beaten all 6.
Because the Bears are ranked 27th right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Cowboys defense hasn't been good all year. The Commanders defense was much better. I mean, a lot of these teams have lost players. The Giants defense, that was one of the best defensive fronts we've seen all season.
Oh, God, they were good earlier in the season, and they just fell off the map.
And get injuries. I mean, a lot's changed since we've played these teams. A lot, just like with our team, a lot's changed. We got players injured left and right.
When we played the Bucks, they only had 1 or 2 losses. They were the hottest team. Their quarterback, he was up for MVP conversation, remember?
Yeah.
And then they played us and they derailed.
Well, like Buka was the last man standing. Shortly after what's his name went out.
Well, yeah, he got injured in the game.
Yeah,
the wide receiver.
Evans. When he went out of the game, then that changed things. But they were moving the ball on us. Mm-hmm. And then Evans went out. And then it was up to Igbuka, and then we bracketed him and ended him. So yeah, that game could have went either way. If Evans was healthy in that game and stayed healthy in that game could have went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Power index right now. So if we go and take a look at the power index and what the Lions are facing next, well, we'll do that next.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right. Power index. So this kind of gives you an idea of strength of schedule now and earlier in the season. Hold on one sec, Eric.
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Just check your text real quick. All right, so strength of schedule, power index. They're 2 different kind of components, right? Strength of schedule gives you the remaining strength of schedule and then also what you have played this season, right? What you have gone through. The strength of schedule ranking right now for the Rams is 12. Kansas City is 3, but I'm going to start at the top. The New York Giants strength of schedule was number 1. The Tennessee Titans number 2, Chiefs number 3, 4 Houston Texans, 5 the Eagles, 6 the Jags, 7 the Vikings, 8 the Cardinals, and 9 the Lions. That was our strength of schedule, our remaining strength of schedule. And this is all adjusted. So our remaining strength of schedule. The Lions are still in the middle of the pack with the 14th hardest strength of schedule to finish the season. The Bears had the hardest strength of schedule remaining. They are now at number 6. And like I said, when in the last 5 or 6 games, when they had the hardest strength of schedule just 2 weeks ago when we did this, now they're at number 6. What have they done since? All right, they haven't done anything since. Right? They lost their last game, and now they're getting into the crux of some good teams. We'll see what they do. But this is where you've got to prove it. A team's average in-game win probability rank is adjusted for the chance that an average NFL team would, what does that say? Control games from start to end the way this team did given the schedule. That's what average win percentage means. The average win percentage for each team, Seattle Seahawks number 1, Rams 2, New England 3, Green Bay Packers 4, Jags 5, all the way down to the Lions number 10. All right, so again, average win percentage, a team's average in-game win probability, not percentage, rank adjusted for chance that an average NFL team would control games from start to the end the way this team has, given the schedule. It's a funny way to look at this. When you look at the power index versus the strength of schedule right now, or the power rankings, they're a lot different. Let me go to the projections. Right now, to win the Super Bowl, the Los Angeles Rams are at 18.3%. Where do you think the Lions are?
6.
3%. 3.6%. The Rams are the only team with a double-digit win percentage of the Super Bowl. The Broncos at 9.6, the Packers at 9.6, the Seattle Seahawks at 8.6, the Bills 8.2, the Niners at 6.4, the Eagles at 6.3, the Patriots at 6.0, the Texans at 5.9, the Jags at 5.3, and then the Lions drop off to 3.6. The Bears 1.4. This is based on the remaining strength of schedule in the power index. The Detroit Lions expected to finish somewhere between 10.4 wins and 6.6 losses. Well, let's hope we can best that by one game, right? And get up into that 11.46 to 5 losses. We need 12-5. That's what we need. We get to 12-5, we're there. But if we finish somewhere between 10.4 and 6.6 win to loss ratio, we have a 55% chance of making the playoffs and only a 10% chance of winning the division. So we have to do better than that. That's a funny picture. I got to get my tree up. I keep forgetting. I got to do that tonight. Got to get my tree up. My Lions tree. I'm late. All right, so offense efficiency.
Did you get your ornament from the Lions yet?
I'm sure it probably went to the P.O. box.
Oh, because I have not gotten mine yet. I'm still waiting on it. Everybody keeps showing pictures. It's a Dan Campbell in a Lions Santa hat.
That's funny.
Ornament, yeah.
So
looking forward to getting that.
If we look at efficiencies for the Lions right now, offensive efficiency on a 0 to 100 scale, it's based on the offense's contribution to scoring margin on a per play basis, and it's adjusted for the strength of the opposing defenses that we have faced. Now, the Lions have done great. They are in the top 6 for offensive efficiency this season, and they are 63.2% efficiency. The highest ranking, the Green Bay Packers, at 73.1, so less than 10 points separate us from what they're considering to be the number 1 team. The Rams are at number 2, Cowboys at number 3, Patriots at 4, Bills at 5, and then your Lions at 6. The Bears are down at 10. Defensive efficiency. Based on the offenses, it's the exact opposite, right? So it's the defense's efficiency contribution to the scoring margin on a per play basis adjusted for the strength of opposing offenses faced. So the tougher the offenses that you have faced, and if you're winning those games, your efficiency should be better, right? Or how many turnovers are you getting? How many stops are you getting? Game-changing play. I'm sure all that stuff is factored in, right, to the scoring margin difference. The Lions are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Top 12 at 53.6. The Bears are in the middle 20s. The Packers are at 15. But number 1 is the Seahawks, then it goes Texans, Rams, the Browns at number 4. That's funny. The Eagles at 5, Broncos at 6. Vikings are at like 9 or 8. So when you look at these defenses and who we have faced, we faced the Browns, they're number 4. We faced the Eagles, they're number 5. The Vikings, they are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They are number 10. The Ravens are number 11. So there's four defenses that we have faced in the top 11. The Bears haven't faced anybody. That's why they're all the way down there in the mid-20s. So that should tell you something. It should tell you something. Now, the Packers, funny as it may be, are behind the Lions at 15. So, I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. I know it's a little bit different than power rankings. It's a little bit more difficult to understand. It takes a lot. Look, it's going to take me a little bit more time to get used to doing this versus the power rankings. We'll get better as time goes on. Eric, what's next on your list today?
Let's see. The Detroit Lions are losing another assistant coach. Detroit Lions tight ends coach Tyler Roll is reportedly expected to leave the team to become the new offensive coordinator at Iowa State University. This move marks a return to the college ranks for Roll, who previously served as the offensive coordinator at North Dakota State before joining the Lions staff in 2025. He also spent the 2024 season at Iowa State as an assistant head coach and running backs coach. Roll will be joining the staff of new Iowa State head coach Jimmy Rogers, who was hired to replace Matt Campbell, who left for Penn State. Reports indicate that Roll intends to finish out the current NFL season with the Lions, including any potential playoff run, before fully transitioning to his role at Iowa State. Roll had originally replaced Stephen Hayden as the Lions tight end coach. His departure will force head coach Dan Campbell to find a new position coach for the second consecutive offseason. And man, Tyler Roll has had to deal with an absolute mash unit at the tight end spot. We lost our top 2 tight ends. We've lost a bunch of backup tight ends. And now I don't even know who's going to play tight end this weekend because we just released Dwelly, and hopefully Shane Zylstra can come back because we are ultra thin at the tight end position. And I actually saw something online yesterday that I thought was kind of funny, that Dan Skipper is our new tight end 1.
That's not good.
No, that's not good at all.
I don't know why. I mean, I don't get it, man. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know why they've gone to Skipper so much. It used to be a feel good, because we were doing some unique stuff a few seasons ago against the Cowboys, and that's kind of when it really started.
Yeah.
And now they've just been rolling with it. We're not fooling.
Did you notice though?
We're not fooling anybody anymore.
Did you notice in the Cowboys game though that Dan Skipper reported almost every play, and the crowd just they quit cheering after the first one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we get it now. I
Finally.
mean, 3 years ago or 3 seasons ago, including this season, it was a different type of a scheme for us. It was a different type of play calling. And then the plays that would come out of that were big plays. Had nothing to do with Skipper, but Skipper was involved in it. And I think it really started when the whole Dallas debacle and, the 2-point conversion that wasn't. That's when I think it really started, because it was a giant meltdown after that. And then everyone had Skipper's back, because he said, no, I absolutely reported, the whole report, non-report. I'm sorry, that Decker reported. So, and they blame Skipper, saying that he reported. But now it's a schematic thing where, because he has an offensive lineman number, he has to go in and report that he's eligible, not an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. And we kind of went through that the other day with the illegal formations. And that is one of my biggest concerns, is when are they going to be able to get this fixed? The illegal formations is costing us a bunch of points. It's costing us field position, and it has to stop. The self-inflicted wounds like this, they have to stop. So I have a little piece here on Jahmyr Gibbs. He is surpassing all-time greats right now. The dude is special. And the other day I listened to Rich Eisen. Actually, I think it was this morning. I better check my email. I sent it to myself. Let me see if I can pull it up. Kyle Brandt had some stuff on him too. Tom Pelissero had some stuff on him. Everybody's talking about Jahmyr Gibbs right now. And here's a story that I actually want to bring in. This is on Rich Eisen. I might have to erase it. So if you're watching this later and there's a funny transition, that's why. But this is interesting to me, because remember when I told you guys I picked the Lions would trade back with the Cardinals and they would select at number 12 and they would take Jahmyr Gibbs. The receipts are on this channel. They are there. And I also said that if the Lions got, like blindsided, whatever word I used, surprised, I think is the word I used, and that Bijan Robinson wasn't going to be there, right? That's when they would take Jahmyr Gibbs for sure. Well, they didn't take Bijan Robinson at 6. Devon Witherspoon, I think, was the player they were going after. He was taken at 5. And so the Lions traded from 6 to 12. Bijan was still there. I think Bijan got taken at 6. But the Lions were going after Jahmyr Gibbs no matter what. And the fact that they took that risk and that they were prepared to take him at 6 should tell you how confident that they were that this guy was going to be the next great all-time running back. And I think he could end up being the best ever. He just has to stay healthy. That's what he has to do. He has to stay healthy. And I think he runs the way he runs. I think he runs with a purpose that he tries to keep himself healthy. I don't think he takes unnecessary risks, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. With his body type, I think he has the body type of a person that is going to stay healthy just from his frame and his height. He's not super tall. He's not super big. And the way he runs, I don't know, maybe he's just not getting the tackles around the ankles or what, but dude, he has stayed, knock on wood, healthy his entire career so far. I think his rookie season, he had kind of like a hamstring thing or something.
Yeah, there was something.
It was like in preseason. And so they brought him in really slowly his rookie season.
Yeah, he was having a little bit of trouble adjusting in the beginning, but that quickly went away.
Yeah, dude. I'll show you something I got the other day from John Woo, and this is on my desk now.
John Woo,
or John Yu over at Pro Sports Zone.
Gotcha.
But but this is what I got, a 12-inch tall Gibbs. Wow, you can kind of see it down there. And that's sitting on my desk, and that's next to a 12-inch Amon-Ra headstand.
Did you see what they have now there that I noticed the other day, that they have the mid-size minis helmets?
Yeah, those are new. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've been around for a little bit, but I think
I've never seen them.
I didn't either until I was in there, I don't know, many weeks ago.
I like those better than the minis.
So next year, we are going to go to mid-size mini helmets for giveaways. We're not going to do the minis. We're going to do mid-size, and for the rest of the month of December, we're doing a contest where if you, I know I got this stupid thing over your face. For the month of December, if you guys are sharing the content, out on your socials, make sure you tag me at Will Rock Jr. on Twitter. You should tag Eric too on his Twitter. But wherever you're sharing it, just tag us, and so we know that you're sharing it, and then I'll randomly pick somebody at the end of the month. You just got to share it the most. I used to do little gift bags, with, $50, $60 worth of stuff in it. This year I'm doing a $400 helmet. So
nice.
Share away. But next year we'll do mid-size helmets. And obviously we're going to have to up the level of what it takes to win it. But let's transition here to the Rich Eisen show. I'm probably going to have to clip this out. But let's hear what they had to say.
I heard you talking about Jahmyr Gibbs,
yes, sir.
And it is one of my favorite draft stories. Because one thing that I try to do every year is just talk to coaches, GMs, scouts, and go through a bunch of different positions. Obviously, I focus in heavily on the quarterbacks, but just to kind of get a feel, who are those guys that everybody loves, or the ones that are in every mock draft and teams don't actually like them? Jahmyr Gibbs was the number one guy when I talked to coaches going into that draft. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's unbelievable! Like that's the guy that I would want." The Lions take him after trading down from number 6 to number 12 in that draft. And people lost their minds of, why are you taking a running back at number 12? I was told the next morning they were going to take him at 6. If they hadn't traded down, they were just going to stand in and take him at 6. I reported that. And if you go back to that tweet and the responses to it, the world was mocking the Lions for making that pick. Fair to say, they were not alone in valuing Jahmyr Gibbs that high, and every time that he takes the field, he shows you why they regarded him the way they did.
Well, and I just heard coming out of that draft that 12 was almost not high enough for him, that teams were ready to jump the line for the Lions for Jahmyr Gibbs, including the Jets, who had Breece Hall coming off of his rookie season. I heard that too, Tom.
Well, and one thing that the Lions have done, and in the great days of the Patriots, they were good at this as well, was essentially you don't grade players and draft them off what the grade is for the league. You figure out, what is this guy going to do for us? Just like Jack Campbell, who a lot of people had as a second round pick because, he's an Iowa linebacker, he doesn't run all that great, what are you going to do with him on third downs? The Lions go, he's a perfect fit for what we want to do. We don't care where you have him graded. I think they took him at like 18. We're just going to stand in and take the guy. There's risk factors involved with that because over time, there are teams that place such an emphasis on the value that you're constantly, all right, we need additional bites at the apple. And that's why you trade down and you get guys. But the Lions have been very consistent with, that's our guy. We're going to go and do what it takes to get him. They did it with Jameson Williams, too, trading up with the Vikings in that draft. And while Jamo has had a bumpy career to this point, you watch him on a good night and you see the freaky things he can do, and you know exactly why they felt that he was a perfect fit for what they want to do as well.
But Brian Branch is out for the season, right? We determined that?
Yeah, Brian Branch, torn Achilles. He's going to undergo surgery, out for the season. You would hope that by the start of the 2026 season, he's back. That is, the start of training camp is, 8 months or so away. So he's probably going to be limited. You'd hope by the early portion of next season he's back. But that's another big blow, Rich. As much as this was a huge win for the Lions, they were the most injured team last year. And you look at them right now, especially in the secondary, And once again, they're kind of, a series of spare parts. They had just gotten DJ Reed back. They lose Terrion Arnold, who had tried to play through that shoulder injury. I mean, he was told 2 months ago this is probably season ending, got a second opinion, decided to push it. It just got to a point where he had to have shoulder surgery that if it hasn't already happened, it's happening in the next couple of days here. Kerby Joseph hasn't played since week 6. Because of a knee injury, and now Brian Branch, who's one of the versatile pieces in the secondary of any NFL team, is out for the season as well. That's a lot to take on. I mean, we're past the trade deadline here. There aren't just players available that you can go get. So once again, Kelvin Shepard and that staff in Detroit is just going to have to go, all right, as much as next man up becomes a cliche, that's very much what it is at this time of year. And we'll see whether some of those other younger players are able to sustain this thing for a Lions team that's right in the playoff mix.
Hey, you made it.
All right. I mean, so there's I don't know, 3-4 things out of this to kind of break down. And I'll start with maybe the least obvious, Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold gets hurt early. Right, with that shoulder injury, I forget what week it was. If that was like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was.
Early.
Right, they get these opinions, and they say, you'll be good. Worst thing's going to happen is it's going to go. Right, it's probably what he was told. But if you remember what I said, the more and more opinions you're going to get, at some point you're going to hear what you want to hear. And they heard what they wanted to hear, which was he can play. Well, that didn't last long. TA came in and went out. TA came in and went out. And finally done for the year, has to have the shoulder cleaned up. And hopefully next season he'll be good to go. I hate seeing guys with shoulder injuries like this. It always seems to happen to DBs or receivers. And Ennis Rakestraw suffering, with the same thing. Hopefully we finally get him on the ground next year. In some games and see finally what these two guys can do together. I am fully confident on Terrion Arnold next season. What were you going to say?
Oh, just there's nothing you can do with a shoulder like that. And I'm sure it's probably a torn labrum and it was probably just a partial tear. So he could play through it as long as he could deal with the pain of putting your arm above your head. Mm-hmm. And then gets back in the game and it goes. And the dude's a warrior. Mm-hmm. He put up with so much because he had a groin early on, and then he got the shoulder, I think, in the Bears game. And then he was out for a few games, got back in, plays his heart out, starts playing very well, makes it through that last game, and then has to have surgery. So that's a bummer. And same thing with Ennis Rakestraw. I really feel bad for that kid. Gets drafted in the second round. His first year is a bust. His second year is a bust. His his second year, he's just completely out. He was in training camp. We were there and takes a hit and just lands on that shoulder wrong.
Well, I would say that, for Ennis Rakestraw, obviously it's been, disappointment after disappointment. And a lot of fans, getting on Brad saying, oh, well, what if? Or what if you would have took this guy? What if you would have taken that guy? And, the hindsight 2020 game is dangerous. I keep telling y'all, don't live inside that world because, you know what? You could probably say the same thing about your wife or your husband. Like, what if I would have just married my high school sweetheart instead? What if I would have taken her sister instead? I really liked her more anyway. The what if game can kill you. It absolutely can. What if I would have taken a left instead of a right today? What if I woke up at 6 a.m. and not 5:55 and I left my house earlier? What if that tractor trailer that just turned over, that would have been my car, had I left 4 minutes early? The what if game, you can put it in any situation, but I'll tell you right now, you can't put it inside of Brad Holmes' war room and question what he is doing. You just heard it from Tom Pelissero. Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be their lock at 6. And when you hear this kind of stuff, like this is the first time that I've heard since that draft that not only were they going to take him at 6, right? That they gambled. They gambled completely going to 12. Yes, they got the extra draft picks to be able to move up and do some other things with JMO and everything else, but they gambled Jahmyr Gibbs could have been gone. But the problem is no other teams had the foresight to gamble to take a running back because nobody was doing it. And I think that that's what Brad Holmes did, is that he gambled. And when Bijan Robinson was gone, that no other team was going to take a running back because that opened up the door for other players to slide down. And I guarantee you that that's what Brad saw. That's what Brad saw is Bijan Robinson is gone. So that means, and I can't remember the draft in my head right now, that this player, and this player just slid down the board. Someone's going to grab those players ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. But then you hear Tom Pelissero say that other teams were trying to jump the line. They were trying to get in front of the Lions at 12. Didn't happen. Thankfully, someone didn't want to trade. But Jahmyr Gibbs could have been gone. Could you imagine if we didn't get Jahmyr Gibbs and we're watching him do this for the Bears, right? Or the Packers or anybody else that could have been picking in or around where we were picking? That would have been demoralizing. But Brad has done us right, man. He's done us right. And then to talk about Jack Campbell, right? Just Jack is what it's going to be when I get the New Jersey made. Just Jack. It's a borderline move by Lions fans. What are you doing taking Jack in the first round? Well, I can tell you what he's doing. He's thinking 5 years down the road. 5 years down the road is, how am I going to fit all of these damn contracts together? But I've got 5 years on Jack, which means I have a 5th-year option. I don't have to do his contract in year 3. So I could still do his contract after year 3, and I can still make him play out through his 5th-year option, and I don't have to start paying him really big money until year 6. That's the level of thinking that Brad is doing. He's not thinking of today. He's thinking of year 6, where fans are thinking about today, right? 1 marshmallow instead of 2. That's what they're doing. I want my marshmallow now. Brad just built you a team of marshmallows. You got a whole bag of marshmallows now because he was patient and did what no other team was willing to do, which was to take the risk on the right players. And now when you look around this team, I'll get your thoughts in 1 second, but let's just throw some of these names out here. So for the Lions, Lions roster currently, remember how I said the other day that he was plugging and pulling players at each position. All right, we got DJ Reed now as a free agent. Okay, I'll stay away from the free agents for a moment. Let me just go to the draft. Brian Branch, one of the best safeties in the league. Ali McNeil, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Top 15 for sure. DJ Reader, well, he's a free agent. Tyleik Williams is now a top 12 defensive tackle in the league. Mikhail Mingo hasn't done anything yet. Late round pick anyway. Aiden Hutchinson, one of the best defensive ends in the league. Top 10 for sure. Derek Barnes, he's up there, but he's not a game wrecker for me yet. Jack Campbell, clearly a top 5 linebacker in the league. Let's keep going. We don't know what Miles Frazier is going to be yet. We don't know what Tate Rowledge is going to be yet, but I would say that the ceiling is extremely high for both of those players, even higher for Tate Rowledge. He's going to end up being a stud guard if he doesn't transition to center next year, which I don't see happening. Jahmyr Gibbs, top 2, maybe the number 1 running back in the league. I don't care about the stats. And I don't care about the stats because he's splitting backfield time. But he is clearly one of the most electric, dynamic football players in the game. Let's keep going. Kerby Joseph. Everybody was pulling their hair out taking Kerby Joseph. Yeah, injury sucks right now. Was the best safety in the league last year. I haven't repeated a position yet, right? Outside of Miles Frazier, but that wasn't a top, 1 or 2 round, first or second round pick. But just looking at the first round picks, Penei Sewell, one of the best right tackles in the league. Could be is the best right tackle in the league, could be the best overall tackle in the league. I have him as a top 2 or 3. Definitely the number 1 right tackle. Let's keep on going. Amon-Ra St. Brown, late round pick, top 5 receiver in the league. Jamison Williams, first round pick,
top 20 receiver probably in the league right now, 20 or 25. If you go by stats, if you go by electricity rankings, that should be a new ranking for us, Eric. Electricity rankings. Jamison Williams is up there. He's a game-changing type of player when he's there, right? When he's producing. Terry and Arnold, we don't know yet. When he plays great this year. Last year, the last 6 games of the year, when he played great. Good player. So far, haven't repeated any of the positions. Sam Laporta, best tight end as a rookie. Second year, followed up with what some people thought was a pedestrian season. It was a good season. This year, injuries took a season away. But damn good pick. Ennis Rakestraw, second round pick, hasn't panned out yet. So there's only one second round pick that really hasn't panned out outside of, like Levi Onwuzurike didn't work out. Excuse me. Josh Paschal didn't work out. I think those were second and third round picks, or both second round picks. Both second round picks.
Yeah.
But you look around this team, man, and all I see are playmakers sprinkled everywhere. Everywhere on this roster. It's not just one position. You have playmakers everywhere. And that was done in 5 drafts. And quite honestly, this draft this year, really, it's just been Tate Ratledge has been and Tyleik Williams, the predominant producers out of this draft, the first and second round. I think that Brad Holmes, again, has done an excellent job. Had he done anything differently, you wouldn't have the collection of players that you do right now, because everything would have changed. If you didn't take J-Mo, who would you have taken? Right? If you didn't move up and you stuck with those picks, that had ramifications for future drafts. Changes everything. So I get sick of the Brad Holmes hate because he has given us players everywhere. So the reason why the Lions were able to hang in it last year and the reason why they're able to hang in it this year is for one simple reason. Because we didn't go heavy at one position with our first and second round picks. Brad put players everywhere. So when you're down a player, that player over there can go make up for it. And when you have 7 elite players on your squad that you drafted, they can make up for a lot of room when you have other players that are going out. Am I right or am I wrong with this one, Eric? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. And if I see these all the time, they do these redrafts, right? Mm-hmm. Where they look back 3 years ago and they redraft for the teams based on what the people have done through 3 years in the NFL. If we were to do a redraft of this draft, are you telling me that Jahmyr Gibbs wouldn't be taken over Bryce Young?
Say that one more time.
Would you think if they had to do it all over again, go back in time, that Carolina would take Bryce Young instead of Jahmyr Gibbs still?
Oh, hell no.
No, they would take Jahmyr Gibbs.
1,000%.
And they'd find a different quarterback.
1,000%. Hey, I tried to warn them.
And now the next one, CJ Stroud, they probably would have stuck with CJ Stroud over Jahmyr Gibbs. But then you got Will Anderson. Would they rather have Will Anderson or would they rather have Jahmyr Gibbs? That one's pretty darn even too. But then you get to like the Indianapolis Colts. They took Anthony Richardson. What a failure that was. And then you have the Seattle Seahawks who took Devin Witherspoon. Could you imagine if they would have took Jahmyr Gibbs and we took Devin Witherspoon instead?
I think that would have been
much different.
It would have been
a much different team.
Yeah, it'd be a much different team. And I also feel like there could have been,
because I think that's almost what Brad wanted to do.
No, Devin Witherspoon, I think, was the guy. I'm pretty positive it was the guy. And I don't think that he saw, well, I mean, I kind of saw Seattle taking Devon Witherspoon because of Seattle loves good corners. And he's played well. I mean, he hasn't been the player that I thought he was going to be. He's played well, but he has not eclipsed to like a lockdown corner by any means. Mm-hmm. So I think we missed a bullet there. We dodged one. But even if we would have had him, I don't think it would have been it would have been bad for us. We just wouldn't have had Gibbs, which would have been extremely bad. But to your point,
the interesting one would have been at number 8 with Bijan Robinson. So if they would have taken Gibbs at 8 and we ended up with Bijan Robinson at 12, I don't think that's much of a difference. I think that Bijan would have fit in our system quite well. And I think he would have been maybe a little bit better of a player in our system versus the Atlanta system. Now, would Gibbs have been a little less of a player playing in Atlanta's system with Atlanta's team?
I don't know, man.
Is not as good.
I look, both Bijan and Jahmyr are dynamic at what they do. I mean, you can't lose with either one. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs, in my opinion, is the better football player, and I think that there's been some conversation, hotly contested conversation, about Bijan Robinson at one point being better than Jahmyr Gibbs. If anybody thinks that, yeah, they must be on the Quentin Jammer diet, because that you're drunk. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't say that lightly because I'm glad that he's recovered. The thing for me is you brought up the 2023 redraft. So, okay, if Bryce Young doesn't go number 1, he probably still goes number 2. If CJ Stroud goes number 1, I think that he probably would have still gone number 2. Will Anderson still stays where he is because the Houston Texans, I mean, they moved back up into that draft to get Will Anderson at number 3. So they would have ended up with Bryce Young and Will Anderson possibly, or they would have ended up with Anthony Richardson and Will Anderson. But if you're doing a complete redraft and based on the players today and what they're doing today, this looks totally different. Bryce Young's out, CJ Stroud slides up, Will Anderson slides up, Anthony Richardson's out, so Devon Witherspoon slides up. But given the fact that the Colts were looking at offense, you could have had Paris Johnson go there at number 4 as opposed to number 6. Devon Witherspoon, the next spot that he probably could have went, he might have slid to 7. Tyree Wilson went to, who did he go? Where did he go?
Las Vegas.
Vegas. So you could have seen Devon Witherspoon go to Vegas as opposed to Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson probably would have slid a little bit further down. But Bijan Robinson going to Atlanta, that could have been Jahmyr Gibbs, to your point. And you know what? Jalen Carter could have went to Vegas, but they passed on him, so maybe not. Maybe not. Jalen Carter probably still would have stuck where he went with Philly. Or that could have been, well, no, because they passed on Gibbs too. I don't know, man. That was a funny one. But I'll tell you this about this draft. Will McDonald was like a 3rd round projection. I had him as one of the guys I wanted the Lions to get. Somehow, some way. I wanted them to get Will McDonald. He's turned out to be an absolute freak. What a great football player he is. And I wouldn't want anybody other than Jack or Jahmyr out of this top 18 picks. I think the Lions did great, man. There's nothing else that I would change.
Number 20 there, Jackson Smith and Jigba. That ended up being a great pick at 20.
Yeah, crazy good pick. The only thing that I've ever asked Brad to do, like, you know, my conversations here, there's only one thing that and I know it's hard. Like, I don't take my own advice. I wanted them to trade as many picks as they could to move up. And try to get another second or try to move back into the 1st round late and grab another guy and get loaded that way. But then if you think about roster roulette, what does that do? Well, now you're paying way more money for a rookie deal. So that brings your cap way down. And then you got to repay these guys potentially after 3 seasons. So that throws a wrench into things. I would still love as many 2nd round picks as I could get. And I know that Brad hasn't hit them early, but he's hit them lately. Out of all the drafting that he's done, man, look, there's a handful of players that haven't panned out. But if we're talking even 80-20 here, 80 have been, you know, hits, 20 have not. And out of those 80%, another 80% have been elite football players. Tell me another team that has done that. Because they haven't. Howie Roseman hasn't. Sam Snead, whatever his name is out there in the Rams hasn't. He hasn't done it.
Les Snead.
Les Snead, there we go. What I call him? Sam? Good old Sam I am. All right. Anyway, not to get too lost in the sauce. What else do you have today?
Detroit is getting the gang from the Legion of Whom back together. The Detroit Lions have re-signed cornerback Arthur Millette, but now find themselves shorthanded at tight end. The Detroit Lions announced on Tuesday that they have re-signed cornerback Arthur Millette to the 53-man roster and waived tight end Ross Dwelly to make room for him. Millette signed to the Lions practice squad back in early October, and then when the injury bug hit at cornerback, he got some significant playing time. Most notably, he was the team's nickelback in the Legion of Whom win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In that game, he tallied 5 tackles and a key interception versus the Buccaneers. So he is back, and the Legion of Whom is put back together again.
I'm glad Millette's back. Look, he's played great. And there was someone in one of the comments last night. I think it might have been in our the group chat. I think it was Nick. He said, "What did he say? Something about us being happy about like third stringers coming back to be starters." Well, Millette's not a starter, but my answer to that, I don't think he was being negative or anything. But my answer to that was, I'm extremely excited about Millette being back because of the way that he's played for us. And you're coming into a game where you have no cohesion with anybody, and he made some big plays. The fact that he's already learned our system, and I think we're getting better, we're getting healthier. He's going to play with even more guys that weren't here when he was playing. I think that's going to give him a little bit more of an opportunity to make some plays. I'm good with it. Like, I still think our secondary is fine. As long as Kerby can play the rest of the season, I think we'll be okay. I just hope he can play to his potential. And if I'm Calvin Shepard, I am not putting too much on Kerby. I would much rather see a too high or too medium safety shell and not all of this single high man, putting these guys out there on islands. Like, you can't, you're not going to get away with it forever.
Yep.
And we seem to get burned up. I didn't really finish what I was saying on Gibbs. I kind of got lost there, but as far as Gibbs, if you take a little bit of a closer look at his career so far, it really reveals that he's been so much better than what people really, I think, are giving him credit to be. 45 games played, 47 touchdowns. Barry Sanders, 46 games, 47 touchdowns. Dickerson, 46 games, 46 touchdowns. Sayers, 41 games, 46 touchdowns, including 8 kickoff and punt returns that Gale Sayers had. Campbell, 46 games, 45 touchdowns. So not only is Gibbs outpacing several of the top 100 players to ever play in NFL history to play that position, he's done it despite splitting time with David Montgomery. Imagine had he not been splitting time. What if it was more 75-25? He could have 55 touchdowns by now. Easily. But in 45 games, he's averaged more than a touchdown per game. That is insane to me. I don't know where Bijan Robinson is. If anyone knows how many touchdowns he has so far in his career, I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close for Saquon Barkley either. So it's hard to overstate how impressive that really is, considering the fact that Montgomery's also scored 32 touchdowns since being in Detroit. 32 touchdowns for a second running back. That is a combined, what is that, 79 touchdowns between the two in the last 2 seasons? That's insane.
Well, he has 47 total touchdowns. He's got 39 rushing and 8 receiving.
For who?
For Gibbs.
Yeah. No, I'm saying for Monty.
Oh, for Monty.
Yeah,
okay,
Monty has 32 touchdowns at the same time that Gibbs has scored 47. So had he not been splitting time, how many of those touchdowns are Gibbs? Right? So that's like what I just said. It's 79 touchdowns between the two in Detroit. Just in Detroit. So not bad for a first round pick that was criticized because of positional value. Just value. Which reminds me, there's Hold on here. I got to bring something in. I'll see if I can do it in just a moment. Are you good for another 10?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'm not going to go into the week 14 watch guide. But that's really all I had on Gibbs was just how impressive he's been. The thoughts on him coming out of the draft and Brad Holmes taking him. You got to put some trust into Brad. You really do. He's putting us in the right position. All right, let's get into Tesla. And then when we come back, I have one more quick thing and then we'll be out for the day. We didn't listen to Tesla. This is only like a minute and a half. So let me bring him in and let's hear what he had to say after the game.
Did this game feel different with the pressures on it now that we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year?
I wouldn't say it felt too much different. Obviously, the pressure's been on for a little while. Obviously, we have a tough stretch here of teams, but, I mean, we're excited. These are all huge games in terms of the playoff picture, so we just want to keep rolling the way we did tonight.
And what's it been like from your perspective? Again, 8 catches, half of them being touchdowns, making the most of the chances you get. How hard is it when it's kind of touch and go from game to game?
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard. I'm very blessed to be in this position, so I'm just going to do what I can to help this team out, whether it's run game or pass game, and catching touchdowns. But at the end of the day, I'm just grateful, and that's how I want to go out there on the field and play.
Why did you feel like the offense was clicking today? What did you feel that was going on out there?
I just felt like we had a nice balance, run game, pass game. Things were really opening up down the field. Obviously, J-Mo and Saint made a lot of plays down the field, so that was huge for us. But, yeah, I mean, obviously we have a lot to clean up, a lot of stupid penalties that we can fix. So, obviously, we're going to enjoy the couple days off here, and then we're going to lock in for the next week.
It seems like Jared Goff took a couple more shots to you more than normal. Just how does it feel to be a little bit more involved in the pass game?
Yeah, every week for me, it's just building trust with the offense, building trust with Jared. So, whether that's in practice or out on the field, when the ball comes my way, I want to make a play. So I just want to keep doing that.
All right. I think most of us listened to Dan Campbell yesterday. But when I think of people talking crap about Brad Holmes, this is what I think of.
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that?
That's what I think of. So, not safe for work. Sorry. Let me see that one more time.
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that?
You sound insane when you talk smack about Brad Holmes because he's put this team in a position to win every year. And his scouting department is, bar none, one of the best in the league. Anything else left on your sheet that you wanted to get to?
One more thing. Multiple Detroit Lions players lead in their positions in Pro Bowl voting. 2 Detroit Lions players are currently leading their respective positions in Pro Bowl fan voting. Right tackle Penei Sewell and linebacker Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's emergence as the top vote getter among inside linebackers highlights his breakout season. He has recorded 4 sacks, 117 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles, performing at an all-pro level despite the team's defensive inconsistencies. Penei Sewell continues his dominance, leading all offensive tackles with a 95.7 PFF grade. And he is considered a favorite for the inaugural Protector of the Year award. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs ranks 5th overall in total votes among all players and is 2nd among all running backs, trailing only Jonathan Taylor. The Lions have several other players performing well in the voting, which include Brian Branch in 2nd, Jack Fox in 2nd, Aiden Hutchinson in 3rd, Kerby Joseph in 3rd, Amon-Ra in 4th, Graham Glasgow in 7th among centers, Sam Laporta 9th in tight ends, and Hogan Hatton 10th among long snappers. And then finally, we have Jared Goff. Jared Goff is also in the mix, ranking 6th in passing yards and 2nd in touchdown passes this season, though he faces stiff competition in the NFC voting from Matt Stafford and others. So you can go to Twitter, and all you have to do is retweet one of the Detroit Lions Pro Bowl tweets, and it automatically gives a vote to those players.
It's crazy that we're already to Pro Bowl voting. Goodness. How many players was that?
So let's see. You got Jack, Gibbs, Penei, Brian Branch, Jack Fox, Aiden Hutchinson, Kerby Joseph, Amon-Ra, Graham Glasgow, Sam Laporta, and Hogan Hatton. 12 with Goff.
What is Aiden leading in?
3rd amongst defensive ends. So he's got for Pro Bowl voting. So he's got, let's see, he's got probably what's his face from Green Bay ahead of him.
Oh, I thought you were saying that. No, I thought he was leading in something.
Yeah, he's third amongst defensive ends in Pro Bowl voting.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about stats or something that they were leading.
Oh, no.
Okay, I got you.
No stats from Aiden.
Okay, so over under.
Yeah.
Does
How
Aiden
many?
does Aiden no, just over under, yes or no? Does Aiden make the Pro Bowl this year?
Yes.
I'm going on the under.
Yeah. I say yes just because if he's third in voting already, that's enough to get you in.
Well, you got to remember that this is voted on by the players.
Yes.
It's not our vote that really matters. That's a small percentage of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So how many defensive ends make the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, for the NFC and the AFC.
Well, it's typically 6 defensive ends are selected to the Pro Bowl each year, 3 from the AFC, 3 from the NFC. So if he's leading by fan voting and he's number 3,
yep.
Are there 3 defensive ends in the NFC right now that could be better?
Yeah, I have to go look at the Pro Bowl voting.
Well, not so much the voting, but could they be a better, a better player, have better stats, so on and so forth? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my question. Is there a better player? I'm just going to look at PFF just briefly to see what they have. We'll go defensive end. And see, it's kind of weird because you're going to have to throw in probably, well, maybe not. Outside linebackers, depends on the team. So right now you have Myles Garrett, Will Anderson, Micah Parsons that are leading. So I think those 3 are in. Aiden would be the 4th one. You won't believe this. Hold on. Get the hell out of here. Tyrus Wheat is number 5.
Wow.
Huh?
Where were you seeing this at?
Defensive grades. Tyrus Wheat has the 5th highest grade among all defensive ends, but he only has 35 snaps on the season. So that number's way skewed. But his overall grade is a 90.2. His pass rush is a 90.2. His tackling is a 73.1 compared to Aiden's 34.8. He's 5th. But he wouldn't count for me because he has to have at least 50% of the snaps that the leaders do. And he's not even close. He needs to be on the field. Is it Lacey? Is it Lacey that is out? I'm having a brain fart.
Lacey's.
Yeah, he's out, right? He's done.
I don't know if he's done, but he didn't play last week.
I thought that he was injured.
Oh.
He was inactive for week 14. He was inactive for 13, right? I thought he had an injury. I might be wrong there. But Wheat needs more time. If he, I get it. It's a small sample size. It's not a lot of snaps, but he needs more time on the field. It's going to be hard to do now with Davenport back. But anyway, to kind of give you a quick snapshot, if you go by PFF scores, which I wouldn't, Myles Garrett, Will Anderson, Micah Parsons are your top 3. Aiden is number 4, and then we'll skip Wheat. You have Nick Herbig, Alex Wright, Daniil Hunter, Josh Hines Allen. I would skip Bosa, only 119 snaps. Greg Rousseau, Byron Young. I would skip Josh Uche, only 204 snaps. Laiatu Latu has been making some waves. Trey Hendrickson's out. Jared Verse. There's potential for Jared Verse, even though he's the 16th rated on PFF. Donovan Ezraku, as a rookie, has played extremely well. I know he only has 2 sacks, but his play on the field is insane. We just went up against him. That's why he was so high on my sheet. All right. I think that's kind of it for the day. I know just a little bit of a little bit of this, a little bit of that today. Tomorrow we'll start digging into the Rams. Friday we'll wrap up with the Rams. I'll give you a quick rundown. NFL team defensive rankings. Your Detroit Lions right now have dropped all the way to 15. 15, which, look, I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. The number that I'm worried about will be at the end here. Passing defense, Lions are at 19. I have not been doing my cue cards over the last couple of weeks. I got a lot to try to get done. I think I can settle in today finally. Rushing defense, Lions are 10th, so we've dropped off a little bit from that. We're allowing 102.7 yards per game, and honestly, I think that we're playing a lot better than that. We've only allowed 9 rushing TDs on the season. So I'm good with what we're doing in the run game. Scoring defense, this is where I have a problem. Lions are at 23.4 right now. We need 4 shutout games to be able to get under 20. And that this is my problem. Like, if we continue to let up points, this is what's going to hurt you in the playoffs. The teams that win the Super Bowl are typically allowing teams to not have more than 19.9 points per game. And this is one area where I expected the Lions to be top 5 defense, under 20 points per game. Injuries obviously killed us. The fact that we were allowing so many pass yards at times, it's a schematic thing when you're missing all of your secondary. It's kind of tough. Red zone defense, though, Lions sliding down to 23rd, 61%. So our defense is getting worse, not better, over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Before the draft or before the bye, one of the best teams in the league. After the bye, not so great. This last game needs to be the identity who we are going forward. If we can play like we did against the Cowboys, take 10 points off the board and play like we did against the Cowboys, we're going to be just fine. Lions 11th on third down defense. I'm good with that. 37.6. We're actually tied with the Ravens. So really we're at 10th. Offensive side, Lions right now, number 3. 378.7 yards per game, 48 touchdowns on the season. And I think the only team that has more than us is the Rams with 49. Passing offense, Lions are 5th, 242.8. Your leader was the Cowboys, 275.5, so we took them down. Patriots at 249, Rams at 249, Chiefs at 248, then the Lions at 242. 27 pass TDs on the season. The Rams, 35. Rushing offense, Lions are 5th, 135.8 per game, 20 rushing TDs. And the only team that's better than us in rushing TDs would be the Bills, and that's because of Josh Allen, I think. I think he has quite a few TDs this year. The Colts were ahead of us at 24. A lot of that's going to change. Scoring offense, Lions are number 1, 30.3 points per game, 48 total TDs on the season. All right, so Eric, we have 4 games left.
Yep.
Over, under, Lions get to 60 TDs regular season. That'd be 12. That's averaging 3 per game.
We're at what, 48?
Yep. So we would need 12 to get 60 or more. Over, under, we hit 60 or more.
Over.
I'm with you. I think the Lions will have more than 60 TDs as well. Rams on the season have 49. They're 1 ahead of the Lions. Red zone offense, Lions are number 3, tied for number 3, exactly with the Rams at 66.7. I'm good there. Doing great there in the red zone. And third down offense, what we saw last week is what we need to be. But the Lions are 18th right now. The Rams are 17th. So it's not as bad as what you would think it is, but 38.6% of the time we are converting on third down. Fourth down conversion percent. This is an area where we used to be great. We have fallen the wayside this year. 52% completion percentage or conversion percentage on fourth down puts us at 19th. Teams that are better than us that we're going to be facing for the rest of the season, Green Bay Packers are 4th. Rams are 6th. Where's the old Bears at? Bears are 26th. Steelers are 24th. So we're facing, that'd be only, 2 teams that are better than us? The Packers and the Rams? That are better on fourth down. So, all right, final 30 of the day. What did we learn today?
All right. So my final third of the day is going to be a little bit different. I can't wait to watch the Browns and the Chicago Bears this weekend. You want to know why?
Might live stream it.
Well, the reason is we can watch history and not for the Bears. We can watch Myles Garrett, if he gets 3 sacks, break the sack record this weekend versus the Bears. And that's what I want to see. And that's what I'm leaving you guys with.
All right. So what time is their game? I can't remember. It's a 1 o'clock game.
It should be.
Yeah. So it's a 1 o'clock. I'm not going to LA. So it's going to be a 1 o'clock game. Lions are on at 4:25 Eastern. So I'm thinking that's going to be a long day of live stream. I might live stream the Bears game. I might. We'll see. My final 30 of the day is we just got to win out. We need to be the defense that we were last week against the Cowboys, minus the late game heroics, allowing, a couple of touchdowns there, late into the third and into the fourth quarter. But what we did through 3.5 quarters is exactly, or through 2.5 quarters is exactly where we need to be. Right? Holding a team to 3 field goals. That's the Lions defense that we started out being in the beginning of the year. That needs to come back. The Lions offense just got to keep cooking. Last week we saw Dan Campbell finally get into his bag. Right? Look, Santa's sack has to be full of presents for the next 4 teams. And every time you open up a package, man, it needs to just be a package of whoop ass. And Dan's got to get into it. He's got to create a level of mixology that we haven't seen before this season. He's just got to do it, man. So Lions got to get back to rolling. Kerby Joseph is back. Final thing, we didn't really talk about Kerby today. I know he was on the thumb. He was supposed to be a big topic today. So I'll ask you guys this. Is Kerby Joseph going to save the season? We'll talk more about it tomorrow. I'll probably talk a little bit more about it today. Is he going to save the season? I sure hope so. We need to see Kerby get back and start thinking of some over-unders for tomorrow on Kerby and the rest of the defense for the Lions this year. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow, 8 a.m. We should be on time. Everything will be fixed. You guys have a wonderful day. Go Detroit Lions. Go One Pride. Adios.
Pressured by Hutchinson.